Morning everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to create a simple portrait drawing. Last week we were closed down, no more teaching in public spaces, so I'm teaching from my studio here at the Last Gallery. And this week's project was supposed to be, we had 2 weeks left before Easter, was supposed to be draw a self-portrait of yourself as a child. So here I am. This is me, aged I think probably about 5 or something like that, in a homemade jumper. And we're just going to look at how to draw a face in proportion. I know a lot of you struggle with it. You may have tried it before and failed. So let's have a few tips on how to draw a simple face. Okay, so here we are. I've got a sheet of A4 cartridge paper again, and I've got my set of pencils here. I've got, like I said, my 2B pencil sharpened with my knife here. I prefer a knife, like I said, as opposed to a sharpener, because it gives me a nice fine edge. And if you don't know how to use a knife, you just hold your pencil like so, and you just slide your knife along like so, and just to sharpen up the edge like that. Okay, I also have a putty rubber and a normal rubber, just to make changes if I need to. So if you look at the face, you can see that my face is full on from the front, so we're not looking at side views or anything like that. The difference between an adult's face and a child's face is that all the features are mainly below the halfway line. So you can see if you draw an oval shape and then draw a line straight across the middle, that most of the features are down in the bottom section of the face, and the rest is forehead. One of the main mistakes people make is not allowing enough space for this part of the face. It includes the skull and therefore needs much more space than you think it does. Proportionally, generally, the length of the nose is the same as the length of the ears, and you will also have 2 nose lengths in this section of the face, and also you'll have an eye's width between the eyes. So there are various tips here that you can use just to make your drawing in proportion. So if I start here with, I've already done a rough sketch here, but I just want to give you the basics. So I would start with an oval shape like so. Just going to move these over to the other side. So draw yourself an oval like so. That's roughly the size of the face. Now you can measure, if you're doing same size to same size, you can actually measure using your pencil. So if you take your pencil and put the tip at the top of the head, and then move your finger down the pencil, that's the measurement of the size of the head. So you can see that the top of the pencil there and the bottom of the pencil is there. So you know that you've got the right length here. And I usually draw a line down the middle, like I said. You can also do the same, use the same technique with the width. So put the tip of the pencil at one end and move your finger up and down until you've got a measurement like so. And you can see that my measurement there is roughly right. So like I said, just draw a line across the middle of the head. So we've got our oval, which we've measured the height of and the width of, and we've got a line going straight down the middle and a line going straight across the middle. So next thing is, with an adult face, you tend to have, I hope you can see this, with an adult face, this is an adult face here, and this is a child's face here, where the oval would be slightly smaller. You've got your line down the middle and your line across, your line down the middle and your line across. And what happens with the adult face is the eyes will fall on that halfway line. The middle of the eyes will fall on that halfway line. Whereas with a child, it tends to be that the eyebrows fall on that halfway line. So the eyes would be slightly below, like that. And then about halfway down between this mark and this mark, and same with the child's face, halfway down between this mark and this mark, that would be where the nose sits. So you've got the nose like so. And then again in half, roughly in half, between that mark and that mark for the mouth. That mark and that mark for the mouth. So you can see the only real difference between an adult's face and a child's face is that all the features, including the eyebrows, are sitting below the halfway line. Whereas with the eyes on an adult, this is the adult, and this is the child. The adult's eyes are sitting, well, the middle of the eye is sitting actually on the halfway line. If you turn for a side view, you draw a circle for the skull and then an oval at the front like so. So the oval is slightly narrower than this sort of oval. So you can see the width of that is very different to the width of that. And in the same way, you would put a line down the middle, split the face, the oval of the face in half. Same again if you're doing the child, split the face in half. And then again, put the features. So the middle of the eye would go on that line for an adult, and then halfway between this mark and this mark would be where the nose is. And then halfway between that mark and that mark is where the mouth is. So same with the child, but again with the child, like I said, you need to put the eyes and the eyebrows below the mark. So the eye would go there, the nose would go there, and the mouth would go there. Okay, so just have a go at this before you start with the main face. That would be good. So back to the main face. So we've got our oval, like so, got our oval. And like I said, because this is a child's face, this is my face, we're going to put a cross on the face, and then we're going to try and find where the nose is. So the nose falls about halfway, like I said. So there's my halfway line there. And then the middle of the mouth comes about 2/3 of the way up this line. So I'm going to put a line just about there. So like I said, and also the width of the eye is also the same size as the gap between the eyes. So if you measure the eye, like I said again, measure one eye on your picture and then put the marks down across this section here. So that's the width of an eye. So you know that your eyes don't start anywhere between this mark. So if you draw this mark down here like that. Now the eyes, so like I said, we need to get the eyebrows in. So remember the eyebrows sit on that line. So we've got an eyebrow there and we've got an eyebrow there. And now we're going to put the eyes in. So eye shapes tend to be oval like this. And then the pupil is in the middle like that, and then you've got the black in the centre of that. Now on the eyes, it's really important to have a little oval shape there which describes the inside section of the eye, and then also the same on the other side. Basically you're describing the eyeball, and then obviously you've got the eyelid. Okay, so I'm going to draw my eyes in now. Well, I'm going to draw them in as best I can. So my eyes come down, and my eyes are quite small in this picture. So like that. And then the pupil's quite big. And then on the other side we've got another eye. Like that. And again, the pupil and iris are quite big. So there we have two eyes. So now, like I said, put the side of the eyeball in. So put the side of the eyeball in, and you'll find that those eyes look far more realistic. Now so we got eyebrows that come down there like that. Eyes, you can put the pupil and the iris in if you want to. Make sure that they're both very much in the centre so that they're looking straight at you. If you draw a pupil off to the side, then it tends to, sorry, just let me rub that out again. I meant to draw it off to the side, I'm drawing it normally. So if you draw it over, you'll tend to get an eye that looks like it's cross-eyed. So it's looking inwards rather than straight forward. Okay, so now we have our nose. So our nose goes around, remember you've got this mark here, 1, 2, so that's where the nose has to fit. So and again the nose is about the width, so it fits within this little box that you've created here. So the nose would go somewhere like that. And with the nose you don't need to draw much of it. All you need are the side of the nostrils and the base like that. I'm just going to rub that out a bit. So just draw the nostrils in and the side of the nostrils and the nostrils. So you're looking for this shape really. So little curve, nostril, little curve, nostril, and then a slight suggestion of the front of the nose there. You don't need any lines coming up here. That they will come with shading or painting later on. Okay, so the ears go in. I'm sorry about the banging, we've got some work going on next door. The ears go exactly, usually exactly, in the same two lines that you've drawn for the nose and the eyes. So this line and this line will guide you as to where to put the ears. So again, like so. Okay, and then we're going to come down and do the mouth. So the mouth, the top of the mouth starts slightly above this line here, so it's about halfway. So we're going to put a little, now a mouth is on my picture here. I'm smiling and showing my teeth. Ideally you would find yourself a picture where you're not smiling, because teeth are really difficult to draw. But with a mouth, what you tend to do is you tend to draw the central line and then draw a suggestion, a light suggestion of an upper lip, and then a light suggestion of a lower lip. And then again, the rest would be created using shading or painting. So up here, I am going to draw myself with my teeth and my mouth open. So here we've got the upper line, and here we've got the lower lip coming in here, and then we've got a slight gap where the teeth are, and that's where my lower lip is here, about there. So like I said, we will have a gap here where the teeth will eventually go in. So that's the upper lip coming down, and then that is, now that my lips go up, so I'm going to draw my lips going up like that, and then the teeth, obviously the centre part is where the join is between the two front teeth, would go in, but I'll put those in later. So again, we're going to join that mouth up there like that. Okay, that's rather crude, so I'm just going to rub it out slightly, and I'm going to redraw it back in again. Oops, you can see that the normal rubber tends to make marks. I'm just going to use the putty rubber. Just going to redraw those lips back in. Often you find yourself doing this because you'll put a mark down and it will get mixed up with the rest. So there, that's better. And then, like I said, it goes up and then down at the front, up and then down like that. I've got a slight gap where the teeth are coming across, and then the lower lip. Okay, and then of course we've got the chin. So the chin would come just underneath that lower mark where the lip is. Okay, so we've got a nose, we've got our eyes. Oh, one thing I forgot was to put the eyelids in. So the eyelids go in like so. My eyelids are quite heavy, so like so. Okay, we've got our nose and we've got our mouth with eventually our teeth. Now the last thing to do would be, well, not the last thing, but nearly the last thing, is to put the shape of the face in. So I'm just going to draw the shape of my face in, and you know, because I'm younger here than I am now, the shape of the face would be slightly more rounded than my adult face now. So here I'm drawing in the hairline, so my hair comes down and then around like so, and roughly where the parting is, and then just rough in a rough shape for the hairline. So here we go with a few curls. Now this is where your skills come in, and you might draw your hair 2 or 3 times before you get it right, but just rough marks. Also where your neck is, like so, and where your arms are, that's if they are included in the picture, and any details for things like clothing, jewellery, etc, etc. So that's my jumper. I'm going to put a little bit of a suggestion of the heart there. So you can see now that I've just got a rough idea for my pencil drawing, and this pencil drawing will be now transferred to a piece of watercolour so that I can actually paint it. When you transfer it to the watercolour paper, it's best to use a little bit of trace down, which is called trace down, which is a bit like tracing paper or carbon paper, and you put the drawing down on top of your watercolour paper with a piece of trace down in between, and then you can transfer the drawing using a pencil. So you just basically trace it through. So that's the best way to do it, and you will be left with a very light line. That line you will then be able to paint over, and it won't show through your watercolour paint. Whereas if you use a pencil, if that's all you have and you don't have trace down, the best thing to do is to draw it as lightly as you can onto your watercolour paper, and then lightly rub it out. So don't rub it out so that you can't see your lines anymore, but just go over really lightly and just take down any really dark marks. Can you see how I'm doing that? And then that won't come through your watercolour paint. Okay, I hope that's been helpful. Try a drawing from the front, and then try a drawing from the side, and just practice as much as you can. And if you can draw from life, that's great, but that's obviously a further challenge. Starting with an image is probably easiest for you for now, and also because I've asked you to draw yourself as a child, then that's obviously going to be a bit difficult. Okay, so please enjoy. Find a nice picture that's large enough, that hasn't got too much shadow on it, if you can. And if it's in black and white, don't worry, you can always tint it with colour, so that's not a problem. And if you have any problems, please leave them in the comments box below, and I'll try and answer them. And if you would like to receive notifications and tutorial updates, then please subscribe, and I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks very much, and see you next time.